It's almost halfway through July, which is absolutely nuts, and I'm here to cover a update video here in July, talking about the NAR settlement, which is happening next month, and how's that going to change real estate forever. Also, it's an election year, so is that going to have any impact on the real estate market? I'm going to cover it in today's video. Now, quick recap, we're going to look at some numbers here just to get an understanding of why we're in such a crazy market and why we can't get out of it. Now, we've been in a seller's market for about 10 years now, still deep in there. The way we judge that is by inventory levels below 6 months supply of inventory. You're in a seller's market. Anything above is a buyer's market, and then around 6 months, you're about neutral. Now, the issue is demand. The inventory has been at record lows and continues to drive prices to record highs, given that we just don't have that many houses on, so it's a hot commodity. And now, until that inventory does increase over the demand, we, for the foreseeable future, won't see any kind of foot off the throat of this housing market. Now, let's go into what may cause said foot to be lifted and some upcoming events and changes. And right before we do so, we're going to take a quick look at this chart here in mortgage rates and looking at the predictions of what experts think mortgage rates might bubble up to be here in the next year. As you see that we've been in around 6.5 to 7.5 in the last year and some change. And that's kind of a sweet spot that we've been sticking around. We haven't been increasing crazy like in the past couple of years like we have been, but we've kind of been sticking around that sweet spot of 6.5 to 7.5. Experts say it's going to dive down. I'm thinking that it's going to be around that 6.5, probably in the low sixes, high fives into this next year. Now, how does the election affect the market? Doesn't really affect it that much. Really, the effect is the uncertainty and the confidence behind the market, because people think that if somebody gets in the office or somebody stays in the office, things will get worse or better, and it's the uncertainty that causes the stipulation that something bad is going to happen or something good is going to happen if one or the other might get in the office. So it's really about the policies going into what the candidates will and will not do and how that will affect the housing market rather than the specific person in the role of which as of right now, there really is not no clear structure of a strategy going into things, because really it's more on the Fed right now that is been at a standstill with controlling the market with the interest rates, and that's pretty much all they can do to combat inflation right now. Now, I will say historically, the month of November leading up to the election year is a slower month of real estate because of all the uncertainty. So if I were you and searching for a house, I would think November would be a decent time to jump in, given that a lot of people will be elsewhere in thoughts, more on the election rather than the housing market. Now, another big topic is the NAR settlement, which is going to shift the market here and some changes coming August 17th of 2024. Now, with this change, if you're not familiar, sellers won't be allowed to offer commission towards a buyer's agent, which is typically how it's done, although they can offer a cash rebate concession back to the buyer to help them either pay for their agent costs, as it's typically done. Just going to be formatted a little differently. Instead of a commission, it's a kind of a rebate back to you. Or the buyers can now use that rebate or concession to help pay for some of their closing costs and lender buy down points. But in turn, they lose an agent and represent them if they choose to use the money towards that rather than representation. Now, another rule to this is you actually can't see a home privately unless you have a representation. So it limits people from trying to represent themselves as much as now you have to have a licensed agent in representation to enter a property. So if everybody's thinking, hey, I'm going to do this without an agent, great. You do have to find an agent that will do it for free, because you need somebody to get you in that property. And I suspect that not a lot of agents will work for free. Now, studies show here in this quick chart that this won't affect buyers' decisions, as there was a kind of survey put out and how this will kind of play out and what people's thoughts are. But I think it will affect the process of things. There's more agents in the marketplace, and there's actually homes for sale right now, meaning that the agency levels will drop a little bit. And as the buyer in today's market, it's way more important now more than ever to interview professionally an agent and make sure that it's not just your friend that you're using, but it's somebody that's going to represent you in the long run. As if you are foregoing some cash for this representation, you want to be able to be sure that this agent can negotiate fairly for you and be worth their value if you're paying for them, or if you're using that rebate concession back towards paying them rather than using them for yourself and just using a discount agent. You want somebody on your side that knows what they're doing. That's really here the update for July. If you're thinking about getting into real estate, if you're thinking about getting into a property, if you're thinking about selling a property, anything like that, feel free to message me. I'm here to help you. And this has been July 2024 quick market update for you.